So good morning everybody. Myself Acharya Vishvendra. AC सर्किट पे क्वेश्चन आपसे डिस्कस करूंगा. आइए स्टार्ट करते हैं. सो यहाँ पे कंडीशन आती है कंडीशंस फॉर मिनिमम इम्पीडेंस. तो इम्पीडेंस को आप लिख सकते हैं रूट अंडर आर स्क्वायर प्लस 1 बाई ओमेगा सी माइनस ओमेगा एल होल स्क्वायर. तो यहाँ से अगर आप देखें आर जो है वो रेजिस्टेंस है और रेजिस्टेंस ओमेगा पे तो डिपेंड करेगा नहीं. तो ओमेगा पे डिपेंडेंट जो फंक्शन है वो ये वाला है. तो आप देखें कि z मिनिमम तब होगा जब ये वाला टर्म जीरो हो जाए, क्योंकि किसी का भी स्क्वायर जीरो से बड़ा होगा या मिनिमम वैल्यू उसका जीरो है. तो कॉन्सेप्ट यहाँ पे है कि z मिनिमम होगा जब ये वाला टर्म आपका जीरो हो जाएगा और ये जीरो होगा तो इसको आप इक्वल टू जीरो कर देंगे. तो यहाँ से ओमेगा स्क्वायर आ जाएगा आपका 1/LC या ओमेगा आ जाएगा आपका 1/√LC. तो अगर इतने एंगुलर फ्रीक्वेंसी पे आप सर्किट को ऑपरेट करेंगे तो सर्किट का इंपीडेंस आपका मिनिमम आएगा एंड ऑब्वियसली करंट एंड पावर विल बी मैक्सिमम. इसको कहा जाता है रेजोनेंस ऑफ द सर्किट. जितने भी आपके कम्युनिकेशन सिस्टम्स हैं जिसमें आप एक पॉइंट पे एनकोड करके इंफॉर्मेशन दूसरे पॉइंट पे भेजते हैं, तो जो डिकोडिंग मैकेनिज्म है वो डिकोडिंग मैकेनिज्म आपका रेजोनेंस के कॉन्सेप्ट पे वर्क करता है. जैसे मान लीजिए आप एक सॉन्ग कोई सुन रहे हैं किसी रेडियो स्टेशन पे, इट्स ब्रॉडकास्टिंग एट 96 मेगाहर्ट्ज. So your radio when tuned at 96 megahertz, so what happens is that there is resonance in the circuit of your in the IC of your device, and when the frequency matches, then it is able to decode the the information from the electromagnetic wave which is sent in the form of a signal. So this decoding mechanism of decoding the signals and converting it into various forms requires the use of this resonance in AC circuits. So this is technological exploitation of the concept of resonance. Now next question, we have conditions for maximum impedance. So obviously if omega is 0 or omega tends to infinity, then resistance will certainly tend to infinity or impedance will tend to infinity. So condition for maximum impedance is omega is either 0 or either it tends to infinity. Next question is maximum current in series circuit. So obviously current is maximum in resonance condition, so Z is equals to R, and current maximum will be V naught by R because this term will be 0. Now if we observe graphically here, there is another question, minimum current. So obviously current will be minimum when impedance is maximum, which is infinite, so minimum current will be 0. Next is variation of impedance with omega. So we can see that omega, when omega is 0, Z tends to infinity. Similarly, when omega tends to infinity, then also Z tends to infinity. So we have a graph like this, and it is minimum at the resonant frequency corresponding to omega naught, and the minimum value of impedance is the resistance in the circuit. So this is how we can analyze things. Now observe the variation of I with omega. So obviously current will be observed in the reverse way because both are inversely related. So current is like this, it is maximum at the resonant frequency, which I have already discussed. Now there is an important concept over here. Suppose this is the resonant frequency omega. So if we observe this part of the graph, in this part frequency is less than the resonant frequency. And if frequency is less than the resonant frequency, we can calculate that inductive capacitive reactance Xc will be greater than Xc. This is because Xc is 1 by omega c. So lesser the omega, greater will be Xc. So in this particular domain, Xc is greater than XL. So capacitive dominant circuit we have. This concept has been asked many times in competitive exams in JEE NEET. That when angular frequency is less than the resonant frequency, circuit will be, so it will be capacitive dominant, and if it is capacitive dominant, then current will lead voltage or voltage will lead the current. So this is the case. However, if frequency is greater than the resonant frequency, then XL will dominate, inductive reactance will be greater than capacitive reactance, circuit will be predominantly inductive, and here voltage will lead the current. So this is what we can analyze through the analysis of the graph. Let's move forward. There is certain thing called as resonant frequency. So we have calculated that at resonance, omega naught is 1 by LC. Omega naught can be written as 2 by f naught, which is 1 by root LC. From here we get f naught is 1 by 2 pi root LC. This is called resonant frequency of the circuit, and it is independent of resistance, but only depends on inductance and capacitance of the circuit. Next is conditions for resonance. We have already decoded omega naught should be 1 by root LC. Then there is a repetition of analysis of this question that if omega is greater than omega naught, XL will be greater than XC, inductive dominant circuit, voltage leads current or current lags voltage. However, if omega is less than omega naught, XL will be less than XC or XC will be greater than XL, or capacitance will dominate, or current will lead the voltage if omega is less than omega naught. So this is how we have seen that in this short video. We have covered the concept of resonance, analysis of circuit at different frequencies, condition for resonance, dependency of resonant frequency on inductance and capacitance of the system, and various other cases. So the purpose behind making worksheet based videos is to optimize your time and energy, and to make sure that your mind and system, your thinking process is along getting answers of the questions. The problem with the students is that when they study, their thinking process has a very diverging sort of issues there. They may think, they may contemplate, they may comprehend, but certain reactions will happen within your mind and system. And if your frequency changes, then you will feel different things. Sometimes you will feel like mugging it up. Sometimes you will feel like thinking. Sometimes you will feel like contemplating. So your mind and system will be exposed to different frequencies. But out of those frequencies, there is some optimal frequency. If you operate at those frequencies, only then you will be able to get the output out of what you study. To make it more clear, to elaborate it further, let me ask you a question. Just ask yourself what you studied today. And try to feel that how you feel like. Are you able to retrieve, to retain what you studied? So that's the bottom point behind the worksheet. Because what we are doing, whatever is happening within us, we are continuously receiving information from our five senses, and that is forming a certain pattern. But the smart students or the smart people have the guts to access the past. Because if I ask you what you studied 1 hour before, so there will be different reactions. Suppose you studied 10 pages. I take the example of 20 students. So out of 20 students, retention will be different for all. There may be a student who is able to recall most of the pages, and there may be a student who is not able to recall all of the pages, and everybody else lies in between. So why is the difference? The difference is because the coordination of the mind-brain system. So whatever you see, whatever you feel like, first of all, if you want to solve a particular problem, then first thing you need to have is a very strong memory, very strong retention process, and that uses subconscious mind. And in that also, the accessing information from the unconscious mind is the key to success in competitive exams. If you want to know more, you can access my video Secrets of NEET by Acharya Vishvendra. It's available on YouTube, or you can search Neural Patterns for JEE NEET by Acharya Vishvendra. And if you want to read, I have compiled a book on the same subject. It is OST by Acharya Vishvendra, in which I have discussed all the concepts, the technicalities, the processes involving coordination of brain and mind, the frequencies of the brain waves, what happens to the frequencies, and especially how to modulate them to connect your brain and the mind, which is the secret to crack JEE. If you have any doubt, you can ask in the comment section. Thank you and have a nice day.